I know that you have your own startup,
I do.
BREVVIE, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you find time to do both. I struggle with this myself. I'm managing another business as well. And how did you even get into that? Can you tell me more about the other
I know.
business?
Yeah. So, well, the cross hustle, we could talk about that for a long time too. The cross hustle is real. So, when you are working in corporate, so I have a corporate background, and when you're working in corporate, I've worked for larger companies with a lot of money. And so you have a budget for marketing and for all that stuff. And it's easy. You call somebody, they hear your company name, they answer the phone, they want to help you because they know you're a big company and you have money. Then you go out on your own and you do a startup and you don't have any money and you have to grind and you have to do everything yourself for a while until you start making money. So for me, that was kind of a big lesson because I would make phone calls as BREVVIE and no one knows what that is. No one cares. No one wants to talk to you. But if you have that big name behind you, everyone wants to talk to you. So I had to figure out what tools I was going to use. So I was one of the very first adopters of Canva. I was using Canva when it first came out, when no one had even heard of Canva. And I taught myself and I did a lot and I worked my butt off. And so what I ended up doing is I brought some of the some of the startup tools that I was using to the bigger corporations. We've saved thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years with me learning that cross hustle, learning how to be efficient, learning how to make my dollar stretch. So I love the cross hustle. I think there's so many people that have multiple things going on because of that synergy. So I'm all for it. And if somebody ever tells you like you can only do one, I mean, I don't believe that. I think you have to be able to survive. And I think that if you can balance and get it figured out, you can thrive. So I started off in commercial real estate. So I have a commercial real estate background. I went to, timing is everything. I ended up going to Surterre with residential real estate right before the pandemic. And like I said, God works in mysterious ways. I don't know why. He just guided me to residential, and residential took off during the pandemic. So I've luckily been in the right place at the right time. Again, I always stay future focused. So hopefully I'll be in the right place at the right time again. So with my startup with BREVVIE, speaking of being in the right place at the right time, I was doing a lot of the commercial real estate side and I saw an opportunity in apartments real estate. So all these apartments, the footprints shrinking, the sizes were getting smaller and smaller. There's no storage space. So I thought, why can't we have like a common garage and share all of the items that everybody uses that no one wants to buy? The unsexy items, the ladders, the tools,
It's a great idea.
the coolers, the stuff that's not fun to buy. I mean, I don't want to buy a dolly that's boring. I want to buy the new iPhone. So that's what I started off with.
And just to explain to people that don't know anything about BREVVIE, it's basically like a vending machine
Yes.
for common use tools.
Yep.
Around
That's
the house.
great. You nailed it. Yeah, that's what it is. And so it's a giant box that has a bunch of different things in it. It has camping gear, anything that can fit in a box. It's like, imagine a huge oversized refrigerator with a clear door. That's what it is. And we use Bluetooth technologies. We have an app. You scan a QR code, the door opens and closes. You check out just like you would a shopping cart. It's pretty savvy. And then you use your item. You use it. You can use it for a day. You can use it for a week, whatever you want. You return it. You check it back in. You pay for the time used. So
it's a fantastic idea.
So, if you're moving, so we're in a lot of apartment communities because it's transient. So people are coming and going. So if you're moving in to a place, you don't want to buy tools and a ladder and a vacuum and a bunch of stuff that you're going to use for moving. So
and then you have to store it somewhere.
Then you have to store it.
Now
exactly.
The cost per square foot is so high.
Right.
People don't think about it. If I own a ladder and I have to keep it in the closet, the closet is probably like, I don't know, today's market, $500 a month to have a freaking closet.
That's exactly it. And even
it's not even the cost of the ladder that could be $100. It's
It's storing it. It's storing it. And so that is one of the things is that I have learned about myself is I hate waste. I would never buy so many things that I have to have a storage facility to store my stuff. So and a lot of people do, and that's fine. It's just, I have a real innate problem with that. So that's why BREVVIE exists, is for that exact reason. And when I was building BREVVIE, I had a girl that would help babysit when I was working, and she lived in an apartment across the street from my kid's school, and we would talk all the time, and she loved the idea. And she had her suitcases in her car because she didn't have any place to put them. So she had her suitcases there, and then she would open her trunk and then open her suitcase to put her groceries in her trunks because she didn't have any place for her suitcases. And it's like, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, you can rent a suitcase for your weekend travel. You
Right.
know? So it's anything that you can think of that would fit in a locker. We store. We also do bikes now. So what
That's
we do
cool.
is instead of putting the bikes in the locker, we do like a
It's a
check-in,
bike
check-out.
rack.
No, it's actually the keys. So the apartment community will store the bikes on property somewhere else. And so the residents have to check in and check out through the system, our automated system, and they get the key inside the box. So it's an accountability tool. And that's really what we're seeing it a lot with in terms of apartments is there's all kinds of stuff in there, but a lot of the high-end apartment communities now, they offer a lot of amenities. So they have pool tables with pool sticks and ping pong and, cornhole and all the things. And so what they're doing now is instead of charging to use all that, they just use it as an accountability tool. So if you want to play pool, you get your pool stick out of the BREVVIE box. Your name is associated with that. You have to have a credit card on
That's
file.
interesting.
So if you break it or you don't return it, then you get charged. If you just use it and return it, no big deal. No harm, no foul. You used it. It's awesome.
Just automates the whole process.
It automates the whole process and it keeps people accountable.
Right.
So, there's a lot of different uses for BREVVIE. We're working with people who, gyms that offer towels. They offer a towel service, but if there's no accountability, people are taking the towels. And these gyms it's costing them $2,000 to $5,000 a month in towels that people take. So if you have to take a towel and, swipe a card and you're going to get charged if you don't return it, you're going to be more apt to return it. So it's just being used as an accountability tool.
That's great.
So then I just will tell you one more thing because it's kind of an awesome story. It's leading into the next thing. It's like being in the right place at the right time. So I was doing beach rentals. So we were renting surfboards and wagons and speakers and tents and chairs and anything you can think of at the beach. And from there, the beach asked us if we could do firewood, if we could vend firewood. So that's we don't do vending. We do two-way return. We don't do vending. So we had to make some phone calls and figure it out because that was the way they were going to let us do rentals was if we could sell firewood. So we figured it out. From that relationship, doing the firewood vending, it introduced us to a whole new world of propane. So it's really bizarre. And when I tell you God works in mysterious ways, this story gives me chills to this day. So when I first thought of BREVVIE back in 2017, I went to my partner. I said, I have this idea. Do you want to do it with me? And he said, no, I want to do chatbots. And I said, okay, that's dumb. We're doing this. So he ended up, going with me on this journey. And I wanted to do the rental items because I thought it was the future. And then the pandemic hit and no one was renting anything because no one wanted to touch something that somebody else had used. But we had already started the software program and the two-way exchange, which hadn't really existed. So we were working on all that. And on a whim, I saw propane. I'd seen propane throughout the years with my dad. I went on Fiverr. Are you familiar with Fiverr?
Yeah.
The art site. So I went on Fiverr. This is in 2017. Went on Fiverr. I hired a graphic designer. And I said, I want a design with Blue Rhino propane on it that says, buy and sell propane or, buy and exchange propane here. And I had a designer create a mock-up of a automated propane exchange system in 2017. I didn't know how to do it. I knew nothing about propane. I never actually bought or exchanged propane myself ever. But I just knew that was what the exchange was. The two-way exchange would be perfect for something like that.
Right.
So I got that design created and I sent it to the president of Feral Gas, which owns Blue Rhino. I just Googled it, who should I send this to? And I sent an email with this image to the president of Feral Gas. And I said, I think this would be a great idea for your company. I had no business doing that. Well, that was in 2017. In 2022, we signed a very large contract with Blue Rhino to roll out automated vending machines for propane.
That's awesome.
I mean, and the way it came about was from the rentals to the beach gear to the firewood lockers to propane.
Well, you have to do things in order to find opportunity.
Yes.
Opportunity doesn't come to people that just sit
Right.
around doing nothing.
Right. And now we are in 2,500 locations across the United States and
That's
growing
awesome.
very quickly. And so that is another side of, just the entrepreneurial side is taking those chances and working, doing something every single day to reach your goal. And you never know where it's going to take you, but you just have to keep going. They always say it, and it's so cliche. It's like, oh, don't give up. I hear that all the time. Oh, just follow your dreams. Don't give up. And it's like, yeah, okay, great. But honestly, you just can't stop. 1 hour a day is what I tell my kids. Just do something for 1 hour a day and you will be an expert at the end of the year. 365 days a year, 365 hours. You'll be great at anything. So that's kind of the path that I try to stick to, is I do 1 hour of something towards my goal every day.
That's very, very great advice.
Just keep it simple, break it down into little steps. So,
And knowing how to pivot.
and knowing how to pivot.
That's very important. Being
and
flexible.
taking opportunities. It's if something is presented to you, we could have said no to a lot of different things, but I like to say yes more than I say no.
Yeah. It's even like we sometimes too results oriented, and we think, oh, if I don't get the immediate result that I want, it's not
Right.
worth doing.
Right.
But what we don't realize is if you do this, then
Right.
a next opportunity that can come along that will give you the desired result. But if you never did this step where you might even have to fail and
Yes.
lose money,
Fail. Yeah.
you might not get to the ultimate destination.
That is a huge point, and that is a huge key. And that's what I see when we talk about, schooling and the future of children and generations. That's the biggest thing I see right now, is because of social media, every kid thinks that they can do, drop shipping or AI arbitrage or
Right.
whatever it is right now. And they
Being an
think it's easy.
influencer.
They think they're going to make millions. I mean,
Right away.
right away. I mean, my youngest son, he's 16, and he said to me, Mom, I need to make millions before I'm old like you. And I'm like, oh, old like me? Really? So when do you think you're going to make your millions? He's like, well, I need to make my millions by 25. I'm like, oh, good. I hope you do. But they think that they can make money so fast, and they think it's so easy.
Instant
And
gratification.
Instant gratification. And so going back to the whole joining the military or whatever, until they are humbled, until they have failed, they will not understand what it is we're talking about right now. They have to go through that grind. They have to do one thing that leads them to another, that leads them to another, that gets them that great opportunity. My kids see me now and they're like, oh, well, you did it, Mom. Can't be that hard. Really? Okay, well, I had a whole life before you existed. They don't see that. Your kids, they don't see you at work every single day. I mean, they don't get it, but they will. Everyone will get it.